Is the mic on? Episode 39. What's wrong with Orny Adams? I thought I was retired. I thought the pandemic put me into retirement. I'm back. I'm working more than I've ever worked. I'd like to welcome everybody back. This is episode 39. I know it's been a little bit of time. I was working harder than I've ever worked. And as you can see, if you're watching this, if you subscribe, I'm wearing my I Love Hawaii shirt. And here's a picture of me in Hawaii wearing the I Love Hawaii shirt, walking out of a store, and somebody said, "Hey, you're wearing the same shirt as the little kid in the mannequin." So I said, let's take a picture quickly, but let's do it fast. I don't want to, upset the shop owners, think we're mocking them. And so here is the picture of me posing like the little child. The little child doesn't have pants on. I didn't realize that. So then everybody's like, why doesn't the kid have pants on? Does the kid have to go to the bathroom? Then people were upset that my knee was facing the other way. I mean, it's all wrong. It's all wrong. My pants are soaking wet because I was on the beach. I was on the beach. This is What's Wrong with Orny Adams, episode 39. He's got great big eyes. What's his name, Kev? Orny. Orny Adams. What do you got? I get so stressed when I'm taking these pictures because I'm nervous that people are watching me. I don't want to offend the shop owners. But it is pretty funny that I'm wearing basically the same shirt that says I Love Hawaii, which to me is funny. So here I am. I'm back in Big Yellow in Los Angeles, California, wearing my I Love Hawaii shirt. And I posted this on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and I said, who wore it better? And a lot of people voted for me. So thank you. Here's the other thing that's the problem with this picture. As you can see, these adult and kid t-shirts are 5 for $19.99. Now, how does that make me feel when I'm selling mine for like $30 after my shows? These people are way undercutting me. Way undercutting me. What a trip. I think we spoke last. I hadn't even gone to Florida yet. I had to go to Florida. I had to get all sorts of shots. They should just have one shot for Florida that covers everything that could happen to you in Florida. That's where I stand, basically, with that. I was in West Palm Beach at the Improv. Shows went amazing. Thank you to everybody who came out that'd seen me before. It felt like a really, really powerful show. It was fun. The audience was into it. I had to make some adjustments from night 1 to night 2, but it was a success. Then after that, I went up to, where did I go? Oh, I went to St. Augustine. And then, some guy tried to start a fight with me in a cigar bar. I went into a cigar bar, and I had my Boston hat on, which you can see I'm wearing in the I Love Hawaii picture. And the Patriots were playing that night. And the guy, there I am. I'm dressed in very colorful clothes, like a light, I don't know what I was wearing, like a light blue shirt and sort of, like shorts that were sort of, very summery, and Vans, and I had my Boston hat on, and the Patriots are playing, and this guy got upset at me. And he said, I said, who you rooting for? And he goes, anybody but Brady. And then how about you? And then he noticed I was wearing the Boston hat. He goes, oh, you're from Boston. He says, I should have known by the way you were dressed. He got in my face. He wanted to start a fight with me because I was from Boston. So he got in my face and said, I should have known you were from Boston by the way you were dressed. And I leaned in. I leaned right into him. I said, this is fucking Los Angeles. I'm dressed fucking Los Angeles. And then his girlfriend jumped in. By the way, they look like they were on meth, which seems to be a lot of Florida, seems to be methy. And so there I am. She's sort of coming between us. And, he's, I'm just busting his ball. I'm messing with him. I'm messing with him. He didn't like the fact that I stood up for him. That's what you have to do. Move closer to the bully. Plus, I'll knock his meth ass out. I'll knock him out. Fired up. Just wanted to have a cigar and a beer. I asked for some local beer. I really hit it off with the bartender and a couple people at the bar. And, it was going great. And then this guy had to start with me because he didn't like the out-of-towner. I get that, the out-of-towner. I'm out of town with my fluorescent and Vans. By the way, Vans, checkered Vans. Van shoes, they're checkered, like the ones that David Lee Roth wore in that video. And they were like blue checkered, like sea blue. I mean, it wasn't It wasn't masculine enough for this guy. And he says, oh, you're dressed like from Boston. What an idiot. What an idiot. Then I sat down at the bar and I was talking to this other guy who was like fifth generation St. Augustine. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And he gives tours. And at one point I look back, I'm looking back at the TV to see, you know, what the scores of the game. And that guy sort of gave me a look again. And that guy caught it. The new guy I was talking to was fifth generation St. Augustine. And I said, did you see that guy when he started? He goes, what did he start with you about? I said, I think because I'm from out of town. He said he was making fun of me because I'm from Boston. This guy stood up and he goes, where the fuck is he from? Now it's on. Now I got the locals backing me against other locals. He got right in the guy's face. I didn't hear what he said, but he was very calm. You know, this was one of those guys you look at and you go, this guy's going to take care of it. And he just came back and he looked at me and goes, you're all set. And the guy didn't look at me again for the rest of the night. All right? That's how we roll. So then after St. Augustine, I went to, and this is why it's important I'm playing this song, I went here. This is where Harlan, I went to where Harlan made this video. This is Harlan and his cousin, Kevin Hearn, who's in the Bare Naked Ladies. Thinking of our funny little friend. Well, it wasn't, bringing this way down, it was not a sunny day in Florida. It rained the entire time. But I went fishing. And I don't know if anybody saw the fishing video that I posted on Instagram and Twitter and all that social media. When are we, can I just stop saying social media? So here is a video of me fishing. I've never really fished, but like everything that I do in life, I go in thinking I'm the greatest at it, that I can conquer this instantly. So this was not set up at all. We had been fishing the entire day before, without incident. And then I said to Harlan, I said, let's shoot a video. Let's shoot a video. Where is the video? I said, let's shoot a video of me fishing. Because I'm putting together, I put together a couple of videos when I was gone just for Patreon subscribers because I wasn't able to do a podcast and I wanted them to make sure they feel like they were getting their money's worth or whatever. I think a lot of people on Patreon just support me to support me, and I appreciate that and expect only what I want to put out, because this whole podcast, What's Wrong with Orny Adams, it's no rules. It's no rules. So here is actual video of me Now, let me describe what I'm wearing in the video, because this seemed to be a problem for Harlan. I'm wearing a tie-dye shirt and a light blue, I think it is, fisherman's cap. But here I am. I've got the stick. What do you call that thing? The rod. I've got the rod, and I'm about to throw the string out, okay? Now, understand, my character is to be cocky and deliver. Or not deliver. That's why it's funny, because nobody can take me seriously as a fisherman. Here I am. Whoever questions my outdoorsiness, I think at this moment, this is what we call, I got nothing.
Well, just because you're outdoors doesn't make you outdoorsy.
I'm about to cast it.
Technically outdoors.
About to cast.
Dressed like that, I don't think you qualify as outdoors.
That's a yellow hat.
How am I not dressed?
Here we go.
Ow! Fuck!
The hook came back and hooked me.
That's what I'm talking about.
There's the hook in my middle finger.
You're not necessarily outdoorsy.
I caught a Jew.
You know, there is a fish called a Jewfish.
All right, thanks, Harlan. Let's not repeat the Jewfish Wikipedia page. Let's run this again from the top so you can understand what's happening without my play-by-play. I'm wearing a yellow old man fisherman type hat, like a bucket hat, which ages me instantly. I didn't realize that. I bought it at a youthful store and I thought it was going to make me look youthful. Unfortunately, no, it didn't. And I'm wearing a sort of tie-dye-ish type shirt. And I don't know, I just look old, I guess, all of a sudden. And so here I am, I go to cast. You can hear it go out here. And somehow, by the grace of something, the hook comes back and gets me right in the finger. And you can hear me go, oh, fuck. And it's like one of those scenes from the movie where the guy gets shot and he looks down and he goes, oh, fuck, and then just dies. That's basically what happens. But then the video continues with cockiness. I'm going to play it again. It's 1 minute. Anybody ever questions my outdoorsiness? I think at this moment, this is what we call, I got nothing.
Well, just because you're outdoors doesn't make you outdoorsy. I mean, you are technically outdoors, but dressed like that, I don't think you qualify as outdoorsy.
Just by the way I hold on.
Ow! Fuck!
Ow!
That's
Fuck.
what I'm talking about. You're not necessarily outdoorsy.
I caught a Jew!
You know, there is a fish called a Jewfish. Did you know that? I rest my case.
Can you-
Outdoorsy.
How many times did we do this yesterday? And that never happened, did it?
Uh-huh,
Here's what
sure.
just happened, just in case anybody's wondering. And I am fine. I'm okay. I won't be posting pictures of myself in a hospital bed later to get attention. What you just saw was an absolute breakdown and failure of a rod.
Oh, okay.
It's the rod's fault. That's what I'm saying. It's a light yellow bucket hat. The shirt, I mean, you got to see the outfit. It's on Instagram, it's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, and it will be on this video. Anyway, it's so much fun, so relaxing. Harlan and I just sat outside and looked at the stars and drank beer. Very romantic for two dudes to be on a trip like this. And I loved it. It was very relaxing. And we just rented a place out in the middle of nowhere, and it was very, very cool. Very, very cool. So then after that, I have to go to Daytona Beach. Now, Daytona Beach, as far as I'm concerned, reminds me of Atlantic City. It's the Atlantic City of Florida. And I was a little worried when I was driving around during the day. And then the show, I saw the people in line, or as the British say, queued up for the show. Excuse my shitty British accent there. To my British fans, I apologize. But I go, these are normal-looking people. This is going to be a great show. And it was a great, great show. And I was doing my joke about pillowcase protectors, and then somebody yelled out, "My pillows," and another guy yelled out, "My pillow guy," and then it turned out everybody in the audience bought that stupid pillow from the My Pillow guy. They bought into that. I go, when the fuck did politics? When the fuck did a pillow become political? Jeez. So as you can see, this podcast is a lot different. I'm swearing a lot more. And I'm going to keep it loose. This might feel a little differently than the first 38, which were very structured. And I'm going to try and tighten it up just a little bit. Maybe that will get people more engaged when they don't look down and see, wow, after an hour and 20 minutes of just Orny Adams alone in Big Yellow, in his studio, Big Yellow in Los Angeles. So that's the fishing video. Don't ever take me fishing. But I think if you do fish and you're outdoorsy, which is a word I might have created, then you appreciate my cockiness and arrogance. I was literally the fisherman out of water in that video. That's what we could call it. So I go to Daytona Beach. Show's amazing. Sold a ton of T-shirts. Thank you to all the people that supported me. It reminded me of my early days of doing comedy because I was in a function room of a shitty hotel. And but that's how I started out, doing shows like that in Maine, New Hampshire, all over Massachusetts, Rhode Island. We would go to these hotels and do shows in a function room, and it worked. It worked, even though the lighting was horrible. The audio was, I think the audio was okay, but the people were there, and the people were engaged and had a great time. And I'll tell you something. One guy came up to me, a kid, said, "You're the most famous person I ever met. I met you and Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback guy for Seattle." So it's a big deal. When Orny Adams goes to Daytona Beach, Florida, it's a big deal. It's a big, 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 big deal. So I like going where I'm appreciated. Thank you to Daytona Beach, Florida, for a wonderful show. That brings me back. I get in the car again. I had a car for a full week. I love having a car. I'm thinking of renting a car all the time when I'm on the road. I get back in the car. Now I'm heading down south. Back to West Palm Beach, Florida, where I'm performing on a yacht, the Venetian Lady. Write that down, Venetian Lady, for a bunch of very well-dressed people in tuxedos, successful people, and what a show. What a show. We had a blast. So I want to thank those people that hired me for that. I am available for other yacht gigs, except you're stuck on the yacht until it gets back with these people. But it was somebody's birthday. It was his wife's birthday. She celebrated her 50th birthday for the third time in a row. And I did comedy, and I hosted sort of like an awards portion of the night. and then hung out with them. And they couldn't have been more gracious, and that went great. But it was very stressful because it was raining during the day, and I thought, we're not going to get out of here. And I'm calling my agent and go, what does the contract say if it's raining? It gets canceled because of rain. What do we do? I know we have their money, but do we have to return the money? Because the money goes to my agents, sits in something called escrow, and then it can't be legally released from escrow until both parties sort of agree. And it's agreed in the contract, if I perform, I get the money. Well, what happens if God, because there's always this bullshit clause in contracts that say act of God. This contract doesn't hold up if there's an act of God. Does this guy want his money back? I was like freaking out. But not only that, not only did I was on that, and believe me, when I was on that boat, I would have loved to have had a drink with them and hung out and had a good time. But all I was thinking about was the next day, I got to hop on a plane. Not a plane, 3 planes to go to Hawaii. So this is now, let's see, Thursday night I was at, the week before I was in West Palm. Then the following Thursday I'm in Daytona Beach. Then I drive down, spend a night in, and believe me, I pack everything, and I forgot a belt. So I had an extra day. I went to Marshall's, I think it was Marshall's, or Filene's Basement. I don't know why belts are so difficult to find, decent ones. I'm in West Palm Beach. It's raining all day, like not like sprinkling, but like, holy shit. Did you see that lightning? I thought, we can't go out in a boat. I'm a fisherman. I know the conditions. I also thought it was very sadly ironic that fishermen, you ever see like fishermen on these TV shows that are like just doing anything to keep their boat together because they don't make a lot of money. They love being out on the water. They're like duct taping like the engine together. You know, crap's falling apart. Doesn't even look very seaworthy. How do I know that word? I'm a fisherman. But yet they go out every day. And then these rich people, they just go out on a yacht. They go on there's no fishing. They can afford the nicest vessel in the world, and there's no fishing. They're just on that boat, basically. By the way, we could have done this party anywhere. It wasn't like people were like out on the deck looking, going, oh, look at, there's the shoreline of Palm Beach. So I just think it's sad. And then they serve fish on the boat. The fish is flown in. The fish is brought in. So these guys with their crappy boats, duct taped together, that love the sea, that are salty, salt of the sea people, that love what they do. They go out, get the fish, bring it back. It gets processed and cleaned and all that sort of stuff, and then it gets brought back onto a boat for the wealthy to enjoy. It's quite a life. If you think it's fair, you're out of your gosh goodness mind. So then I'm very stressed about the yacht gig because I have to get back to the hotel, and I have to force myself to sleep for about 4 hours and then get to the airport, return the rental car. Now I get back to Avis. Avis car rental place isn't even open in the morning in Palm Beach Airport. So I just like left the keys, and I'm like, hope this works out. And I've got 3 flights. Now I've been stuck in places like West Palm where a little thunderstorm comes in. So I'm watching the weather report all night. I'm watching my phone as I'm going to the airport. I'm like, please don't have a cloud come over and delay this flight. I can't be delayed. I got to get to Atlanta. But I had also, because it's important for me to make these gigs, I also booked another flight out of Miami just in case I had to drive to Miami. But so I have 3 flights. I go Palm Beach, Atlanta, Honolulu to Lahui Airport, Lahui. I still don't know what island I was on. But I can't get the island straight. And I kept saying to people I was talking to, well, in America, so dumb I am, keep forgetting that Hawaii is America. You know, in America, you know, we do, this happens. In America, we can't get Lyfts and Ubers as easy. You guys are a lot nicer than America. So, imagine how exhausted I am flying 3 flights, 16 hours of travel time, maybe 18 with layovers. Get in Sunday night, order room service, wake up, start preparing for the gig the next day. Now, I also had the virtual like gig during the day or call or something. I don't know what to call it. And then I had to do a sound check, and then I had to prepare for the gig. And this was one of the hardest corporate gigs I've ever done. It was for a company called Avnet, and it was only difficult because I had to come out and do 25 minutes, and then they ate dinner and there were awards, and I had to come out and do another 25 minutes, and then there were more awards and speeches, and then I had to close the night with 10 minutes. Well, have you ever watched the Oscars? When the host comes out, you're like all excited, like, oh, this is going to be great. And then when they leave and they start the show, they give out like a few Academy Awards or Emmys or Tonys, and then the host comes back and you're like, oh, I don't want to see this guy again. Just saw this guy. There's nothing new, nothing special. So it was difficult to break up my material 25 minutes, 10 minutes, but it could not have gone better. Another standing ovation. Standing ovation on the Yacht gig, standing ovation to Daytona Beach and West Palm. Why am I even telling you that? Who cares? Doesn't matter. But everybody was loving it. We're having a great time. I thought I was retired. I thought I was retired because of COVID. I thought because of the pandemic. I thought, I'm not getting back out there. It's too difficult. All the travel. And it was. This was one of the most stressful 3-week runs I've done in comedy. And I'm just glad that all the gigs went through. And it worked out great. And the Avnet people couldn't have been nicer. They were on the resort all week. I stayed a few extra days, gave myself a vacation, then went to Honolulu for a couple of days. But, on the resort, these people could not have been nicer, the Avnet people. They really enjoyed the show. And they do comedy every year. They've had, Howie Mandel. They've had Martin Short. They've had a lot of, big names. So it was nice to be in that mix. Let's just keep going, because I just want this thing to cook, this podcast. I was watching before I took off, and I forgot I was watching this because I had to go back and look at my notes for what would be on episode 39. I was watching a show called I Was a Teenage Felon, and it's on, what is that, Vice. Now, the premise of the show is that somebody as a teenager got arrested, but nobody got arrested really in this episode. It was a bunch of guys selling T-shirts that say Yankees Suck outside of Fenway Park. Now, I sort of lost my mind because I'm a little upset that the Red Sox are tied 2-2 going back to wherever they're going back to, the Houston, to play these games. They should have won. They should have won game 4. Game 3. They were up 2-1. Anyway, they're in a horrible position. They're back at Houston for two games, and they should have won. They should have been moving on to the World Series already. But I was watching this show. I Was a Teenage Felon. And it was about these guys that printed these shirts, Boston Sucks. I mean, wow. Yankees Suck. Delete that. Nothing about Boston Sucks. Boston's the greatest city. If you grew up in Boston like I did, it's ingrained in your brain that the Yankees suck. Every time you see one of those hats, those New York Yankee, you just think, Yankees suck. And I've told this story before. I've been at the Dodger Stadium when the Red Sox were winning the World Series, beating the Dodgers, and the Red Sox fans are all chanting Yankees suck. That's how much we hate the Yankees. And we hate the Lakers too, by the way. Hardcore. My brother-in-law said, oh, you've been in LA for like 20 years. Do you think you'd ever root for the Dodgers? No, Yankees suck. Yankees suck, and Yankees will always suck. And so you grew up, but you never really understood where this expression came from or how it became so popular. And I think these guys had something to do with it. They printed these T-shirts and they sold them outside the park. And outside the park used to be a blast. It was like a carnival. People selling stuff everywhere. You'd buy scalp tickets for like $10 or $5 the day of, right before the game. You didn't have to worry if they were counterfeit or not. There wasn't like this escalation of prices. Like, it seemed fair. It was very sort of, quaint and easy. You go in there and have a Fenway Frank. What's that? That's a hot dog that's been sitting inside cellophane, getting soggy for hours. And you love it. I used to love going to games. And I remember seeing these shirts. And they told the whole story about, I didn't realize they were so thuggy. Like, they had to fight for territory. They got into fights with other T-shirt people. And what I pulled from this, and I don't want to go into great lengths about it, was people were trying to haggle with them. And sometimes this happens when I'm selling my t-shirts after shows. Very rare, but it definitely happened in New Brunswick. New Brunswick was a city in New Jersey. I was there a couple of weeks ago, and two people like sort of questioned the price of the t-shirt. Now, understand, I'm not gouging. These things are expensive to design, they're expensive to ship, to print, and everything's gone up because of COVID. Everything's gone up. The cost of printing, t-shirts, shipping, everything. It's called inflation. And so, and again, it's like my Patreon. I think people are doing it to just support me. So I appreciate it. I really do. So one guy comes up to them. Now, the beginning of the clip, they're talking about how they would prevent other people. These people would get into fights. Like if another group of people were selling t-shirts close to them, they would pour grape juice on it or get into fist fights with them or throw their stuff over the bridge. I mean, it's not like the nicest group of people, but that's how business was done in Boston, because Boston's the greatest city in the world, and Yankees suck, Yankees suck, Yankees suck, Yankees suck. So here is one of the guys who I think eventually got shot in the head in a drug deal that went bad, talking about first sabotaging other people's t-shirts, and then about one guy in particular that tried to haggle with them over the t-shirt price.
Anybody have a question?
Oh, that's the fishing video. Nice going, Orny. Here we go. Take two. Yankees suck. This is a clip I pulled from Vice. I was a teenage felon.
I'd send a guy to 7-Eleven, buy grape juice, and pour grape juice on him, chuck him over the bridge, whatever we had to do.
I'm looking over my shoulder, and I see a bunch of T-shirts raining down over the Mass Turnpike.
I don't know if they told you about that one guy, looked like Hulk Hogan. He had, this white tank top on, he's all drunk, and he's like, I'll give you $5. And I'm like, nope, 10. I'll give you $5. And he wouldn't get out of my face, so I can't sell shirts, and he's drunk as shit and everything. I remember I punched him, and, he grabs me and $5, and I'm fighting with him. It was like a 20-minute longer just pounding on this guy. He would not go down, would not leave. Still wanted the shirt for $5. Now, those guys notice, and they come over. Ray comes over. I think Chris hit him with a bat. This guy would not go down. Now he's shirtless at this point. He's like techno Viking, no shirt, standing in the street. He's tuckered out. I'm tuckered out. I remember I was like this with my hands on my knees. I'm like, and he's like, $5. I just threw the shirt at him, and I said, get the out of here, man. You earned that thing.
That's what I'm going to start doing
People
at my shows. That's what I'm going to do. You haggle with me? Fist fights. Fist fights. $5. $5. This song's called Trash Song. Do the disco. This episode is brought to you by nobody except me. My love. This is brought to you by my love. Yeah, so don't haggle over the price of t-shirts. You do that when you go into department stores. Let's talk about this other 2020 I watched. Let's bring this down. Enough of this crap. Fading down. I watched a documentary on 2020 when I couldn't sleep when I came back on Chippendales. I didn't realize that the Chippendales, which is a review of men dancing for women, taking off their clothes, men in great shape, men that don't look like me. And they wore like a bow tie with a little bit of white behind it, that as if their whole t-shirt was cut out, and they would dance. And there was a lot of bachelorette parties, and it was liberating for women who had to put up with these slimy men going to strip clubs for years. So good for you, women. Good for you. And what I didn't understand was the guy who founded the Chippendales ended up murdering one of his partners and then putting out a hit on 3 other Chippendales that went off and did their own sort of competitive project. Like they called it I don't know, some Greek name for hot men taking their clothes off. I always thought it was very corny. And when you see the old footage, there's a documentary on Discovery Plus about it. There's going to be a lot of talk, I think, about these Chippendales. A lot of them look like slimy men with their little mustaches. grinding up against women. But this was all over the place when I was a kid. It was on like Phil Donahue and all the talk shows, the Today Show. People were fascinated that men were now stripping for women. It's basically when the world came to an end. But it's fun to watch the women just all thrilled. And there's just like this innocence that just doesn't exist anymore, which I loved. So, guys, what do you want to bring this home with? You want to talk 90 Day Fiancé? You want to talk about what happened to me hiking yesterday? Let's talk 90 Day. I watched an episode of 90 Day, and I know it's been a while, but this is one guy who happens to be Mormon, and he's dating a woman from Russia, and he's clearly trying to convert this woman to Mormonism. And if you know anything about the religion, they have strict codes about no drinking and no sex. Well, this guy is making her live by these set of rules, but he's broken the covenants. He's broken these rules before. And by the way, it's very uncomfortable because they're young, early 20s, and she doesn't know what she's doing. Like, you really feel like she's being taken advantage of. And they're not even... They couldn't even go to Russia because of COVID, so they're in Turkey or something, hanging out, trying to see if they should be together. Well, this guy's a slime bucket. This guy, not only is he a Mormon that slept with, I think he admits to 5 women. You're not supposed to sleep with anybody before you're married. He wouldn't even share a bedroom with her over there, the woman that he's going to see if he's going to marry. You understand the premise of 90 Day Fiancé, right? People from other countries connecting up, but they have a 90-day visa to decide if they're going to get married or not. And once they're married, then the person gets the green card. Well, there's a lot of mismatches because there's a lot of people from other countries trying to get to America. Okay? Why? Because the Yankees suck here. And so I've explained the premise before. You understand. So this guy, it's called the other way. He's going to get her. Well, this guy, he's a missionary. And what he does is he tries to convert people. So it's hard to tell if he's trying to convert her or really loves her. But at the same time, like at the beginning, when they first started going out, she thought they were in a committed relationship. Turns out he wasn't acting that way. Now, why guys do this, I don't know. You're lucky to land one woman who's attractive and smart. Stick with it. What's going on? Self-sabotage. So he started sort of, he was dating other women at the time, and she's so innocent and naive. She's like, You don't kiss. How many did you kiss woman on date? Kiss? This guy's getting naked and grinding up and doing some un-Mormon-like insertion. Did you kiss woman? You're like, oh God, I just want to swoop in and save her. She doesn't even know what's going on. She's so naive. And he's like, yeah. Then they cut to him like, now he's talking to the producer somewhere else. He's like, there's a lot more. I don't know if I should tell her. I don't know why people are keeping all these secrets. Anyway, she set up what they call a thirst trap. That's where you test how thirsty the man or woman is that you're dating. In other words, you set up a trap. In this case, she had one of her friends reach out to him. Uh-oh. And does he respond? I think we know the answer. And these young people are so smart. Like, at first thing they did was they were connected on Instagram, meaning they followed each other. So the Russian girls unfollowed each other so this guy couldn't track. There's a lot of forensics that has to go on, I guess. I don't even know how to see if somebody liked a tweet of mine, for crying out loud. I don't know how to do this research. I'm not down with that. So, anyway, he responded, sure enough. And so she said to him, hey, listen, buddy. And she doesn't bring it up. Now, how she's able to contain this? Like, he was out somewhere. She's on FaceTime with her friend. And she's like, did Steven respond? No, it's wrong accent. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, You can see her deliberating. I would be standing by the door ready to, really lay into the person, but she keeps it in, which, by the way, I think is unhealthy. And still has not confronted him that she set up this thirst trap. In fact, they've decided to even try and seduce him even further, have the friend try and seduce Stephen even further. So she said, listen, I want you to delete your social media. Show me you really care. I've come to Turkey from Russia to be with you. I did not cheat on you or was not with other people while we were dating. You were with several, and now I want you to delete your social media. Delete it. And he has a lot of female friends, and she said, and this is sort of a younger thing, I want you to get rid of all your female friends. And he says this. Are you ready for this? You ready for why guys have a horrible reputation? Now, this is a little bit hard to hear. I've got to turn it all the way up. I've got to crank it because I was in my bed. It was late at night. I was jet lagged. I'm watching this and I go, oh, this is going to be gold. So I grab my phone. I start to film it. Like if you're watching the video, you'll see I have to zoom in and you'll see me turn up the volume because I just knew. I knew this guy was going to say something stupid and I had to catch it on tape. Here we go.
I don't know, just how to say it.
Baby, you're never the backup plan. You're never plan B. I love you more than them, and I came out here to be with you.
So now, as I understand, we are on serious relationship?
She said, now, as I understand it, we are on serious relationship, meaning are we now committed? Are we now finally committed? Oh, I feel so bad just even looking at her. I mean, it's just... She's young. This is why young people shouldn't get married. Talk to me if you have any questions and you're young about marriage, and I'll enlighten you. Let's continue the clip from 90 Day Fiancé.
Going to get married?
She said, do you want to get married?
Is this right?
Is this right? Is this going to happen?
That's why we're here. That's what we're trying to find out.
Oh, he's so slimy. That's why we're here. That's what we want to find out. I mean, he's when men make other men cringe, that's the case here.
What can I do right now to make you feel better about what happened?
Promise me that you are not gonna communicate with your female friends.
Forever?
Yeah.
But even Jesus had friends who were girls.
I mean, can you believe that? What he just said? He said, what can I do to make it better right now? And she said, I want you to stop communicating with your female friends. And what's his response? The Mormon slut who slept with 5 people? Even Jesus had friends. I mean, listen to my laughter. This is not a fake set up canned laughter. I just can't believe the crap some people lay on other people in a relationship, and it goes both ways. Hold on. Oh, that's the laugh again. Oh, we should just isolate that.
Forever?
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to talk over what they're saying.
Promise me that you are not
Promise me that you will not communicate with your female friends.
Forever?
And he says, forever? And she says, yeah.
Even Jesus had friends who were girls.
Even Jesus had friends that were girls? Are you kidding me? I mean, I'm going to start using that line. Even Jesus had friends that were girls. I mean, unbelievable. Guys are unbelievable. Episode 39, What's Wrong with Orny Adams? It's good to be back. It's nice to be back in Big Yellow. Nice to be back. Well, guess what? I was an expert again yesterday. Hiking up in Runyon. This is embarrassing. This was eating me up for like a couple of hours yesterday. Bringing this down, bringing this way down, shutting it off. So listen to this. Yesterday, I'm hiking, and I see 2 sort of like, let's call them hunky guys. How do you want to describe men that are in great shape and have beautiful hair while they're hiking wearing tank tops? What do we call them? We call them not Orny Adams, right? And one of them had a football. And so as he was coming towards me, I said, if I didn't have a drink in my hand, I'd go long. So, meaning I'll go out for a pass. I'll show the hunky people, just like I showed you guys in the fishing video. I'll show you how to fish. And so he said, go long. So I handed my friend the drink, and I went long. And the guy threw the ball. and I could see it sort of wobbling. It wasn't a perfect spiral. Okay? And I'm adjusting my steps. It's coming underneath me. I got my bread basket ready to catch it, and it wobbled, and it hit the tips of my finger, and it bounced on the ground. And then it bounced again, and it's bouncing towards the edge of the canyon. I'm hiking in a canyon, which means there's a huge drop down. And I'm going, oh no, it's going towards the edge of the canyon. And I can't run for it because if I slip, I'm going to fall off the canyon and die. And single people don't die falling off canyons. Only married people having their picture taken walking backwards. And so we all sort of, they're moving towards the edge, my friend's moving toward the edge, and we're watching the ball, and it bounces down, and it's at a point where we could still get the ball, and then it stops and it bounces again. We go, no, and then it bounces, no, and each bounce, no, and I lost their football. I felt like such a loser, and I just looked at everyone, just looked like shocked, like what happens now? Do I have to buy them a football? Oh, it was humiliating. I can't fish and I can't play football. He's got great big eyes. What am I good for? Just comedy?
What's his name?
Kid, Orny. Adams. Remember, Yankees suck. Well, it feels good to be back. It feels good to give you a 90-day fiancé update, to update you on my dates in West Palm Beach, Daytona Beach, the Yacht gig, the gig in Hawaii. Bringing this down a little bit. Here's the deal. My tour schedule, Orny Adams /tour. Where am I next? Las Vegas. Going to Las Vegas. I'm doing another private gig out here at a country club, Hillshire Country Club, in November. Then I am Comedian of the Year in Boston. Big announcement. I am Comedian of the Year. I'm going to accept my award in November. And then I go to Mohegan Sun Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut. The tour continues, everybody. I'm not even going to bore you with my December dates, but go to ornyadams.com/tour. If you want to keep in touch on this podcast, it's very simple. It is what's wrong at ornyadams.com. That's the email. What's wrong at ornyadams.com. What's wrong at ornyadams.com. You can go to ornyadams.com/podcast for all the links. If you want to watch this video, it's on Patreon. I'm uploading some of the older videos, episodes up to YouTube. I just uploaded episode 29. This is episode 39. So the Patreon users have had 10 episodes. They're 10 episodes ahead of you. How does that make you guys feel? Kind of like the Yankees suck, doesn't it? I hope the Red Sox win. I hope we make it to the World Series. We're on a wonderful run. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you to Ernesto Hurtado and his team for making sure this video is, this audio is right and up on iTunes, Google. It's on Spotify. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And wow, episode 40. That sounds like a milestone. Thank you. Even Jesus had female friends. That's remarkable.